YouTube, what's going on? It's Jamar here, Vegas Sense. This video, I'm going to be doing a top 10 list of the top 10 fragrances that I plan to wear this coming fall and winter. So out here in Las Vegas, we don't get like a traditional winter like most people or most places do back east, where you get snow and stuff like that. Even though we did get snow for like one day out here last year, our winters pretty much stick around like maybe high 50s to low 60s or so. And then, I mean, even in our technical, I guess you could say, fall season, the temperatures are still like in the 70s, probably like 70s and 80s or so. So a lot of these fragrances are still going to have fresher elements to them. But I would say that, I could definitely get away with wearing these fragrances in those temperatures out here during this time in Las Vegas. So I do have one honorable mention, and that one is going to be from Sensual Obsessions. So that's going to be Sensual Obsessions Amber and Oud. So Amber and Oud is, again, exactly what that fragrance name says. The notes, according to Kevin, are just amber and oud. So this particular fragrance, it comes off as like a really sweet, aromatic, woody type of fragrance. You get oud in it, but it's not really like off-putting oud at all. And it lasts a really long time. Like, you can spray this on at night and it'll still be on you the next day, before you take a shower. Now, also, as it starts to dry down, it does sort of become, at least on my skin, it becomes like really, really, really fresh on my skin. So I really like that about this fragrance. It's not like a beast mode performer as far as projection goes, in my opinion, but it does still have some pretty moderate projection, at least off of my skin. All right, so that's the runner-up, Amber and Oud. So coming in at number 9, I'm also gonna go with another Sensual Obsessions fragrance, and that one is gonna be Andy Warhol. All right, so Andy Warhol, this one is another woody fragrance. It does have oud in it as well, but it's paired up with a really sweet, just really nice plum note. And this one is sweet and woody, just like the Amber and Oud is, but I would say this one takes the sweetness, a notch higher, and this one is definitely a lot more unisex. I would say the Amber and Oud, in my opinion, is a much more masculine fragrance. This one, I think, could easily be worn by a woman or a man. I also think that this one could be worn at any season, at any time, but I do think that maybe fall and winter is probably the best time to wear this particular fragrance. All right, so again, that's Sensual Obsessions interpretation of Andy Warhol by Bond number 9. So that's my number 10. So the number 9 pick that I'm gonna go with here is going to be Sensual Obsessions take on Allure Homme by Chanel. And this fragrance, I think in those winter and fall months here in Vegas, so pretty much any time from like November through, I would say, probably February or so, I think this fragrance is really gonna shine. It's really fruity. It has like that really nice peach note in this particular fragrance, but it comes across as really creamy as well. And this one is heavy enough that I think even in like extremely cold temperatures, like anything below probably 30 degrees or so, this one would still perform really nicely. All right, so this one, again, is one of my favorite fragrances. I plan on getting a full bottle of this pretty soon. This as well as the Andy Warhol. So this one, again, solid pick for the fall and winter months. All right. So that's my number 9 pick. For my number 8 pick, I'm gonna go with Happyland Studio Fragrances, Happyland Signature. All right. So this one is really sweet, spicy, and fruity at the same time. So, you know, it has like this really sweet tobacco note in it. You know, it has like a really nice spiciness to it as well. Then it has blueberry in the background to give it like a fruitiness as well. This one, in my opinion, it smells very similar to like Hafez 1984 by Alexandria Fragrances, but it does have a bit of a twist or turn, I guess you could say, that separates itself from that fragrance, and that's from that blueberry note for sure. All right, so this one is a beast mode performer. I think that this one is probably best suited in like really cold winter months. So like anything like freezing temperatures or lower. But I think even out here, you could still wear this. You would just have to be very mindful of how many times you spray it. All right. So at number 7, that one is Happyland Signature. All right. So at number 6, I'm gonna go with another Sensual Obsessions fragrance, and that one is their take on YSL's L'Homme. Now, anybody that's watched this channel a lot, you know that I absolutely love Alexandria Fragrances' version of YSL L'Homme, the Home Classique. That one, in my opinion, is a much more fresher, spicier version of YSL L'Homme. You know, it really emphasizes the ginger note in that particular fragrance a lot more. And it's not as heavy as YSL L'Homme is, or even as this is. So that particular fragrance, I find that better to wear in like the hotter summer and spring months. This one is pretty much dead on with YSL L'Homme's Dry Down. So this one is just a tad bit heavier. It doesn't focus as much on the ginger, obviously, because it's focusing on the dry down. So it's a little bit more woodier than, you know, the Alexandria Fragrances Home Classique is. But this one is pretty much, I mean, this is as close to YSL L'Homme as you can get in a cologne. And so because of that, and because I love YSL L'Homme, this one I would say is definitely going to be heavy in my rotation once, you know, the weather starts to cool down a little bit more. All right, so moving on here, I'm gonna go to what do I want? Yes, so I'm gonna go with another, and this is gonna be YSL. So Yves Saint Laurent's YSL Y EDP. So I do have a full bottle of this that I just purchased that I haven't received yet, but it is on the way. This particular fragrance, it smells very similar to YSL L'Homme, but just with more of like a aquatic type feel to it. But it does have like that spiciness that L'Homme has, and it definitely has like a nice freshness to it as well. I think that this one is definitely like a all year round fragrance, I would say. But I do plan to wear this particular fragrance in the fall, especially once my bottle comes in for it. All right, so this one, I get solid performance out of this, at least about 8 hours or so. So I plan to wear this one a lot to work. Definitely plan to wear it outside of work as well, but I do plan to wear it to work a lot. All right, so again, that one is YSL Y Eau de Parfum. Okay, so getting down to the last few here. So Now I'm gonna move over to another Alexandria fragrance, and that one is gonna be Royal Equestrian by Alexandria Fragrances. So Royal Equestrian is Alexandria Fragrances' take on Parfum de Marly's Leighton. And even though I haven't smelled PDM Leighton before, from what I've heard is this pretty much smells almost identical to Leighton. The only difference is in the opening, the green apple note that you smell in Leighton, it smells a little bit more medicinal, more kind of like Vicks vapor rub, type of smell in the original. And this one for sure is a lot more smoothed out. It does sort of have like a medicinal sort of apple, smell to it, I guess you could say, when you smell it. But it definitely doesn't come off as being like too strong. And I mean, people really, really love this fragrance. I love this fragrance, and I've gotten pretty good feedback from wearing it as well. This one, it is fresh enough for you to probably wear all year round, but it is a much heavier fragrance than you would think. And I think that this one, it definitely goes a lot better for cooler months. So I would say anything below probably 60 degrees or so, or 65 degrees is probably when you want to pull this out. Anything above that, you can still wear it, but I would say maybe do like 1 or 2 sprays max. All right. Also, this one lasts all day long. So this is a fragrance that you can throw on in the morning and you're good for the rest of the day. All right, so again, that one is Royal Equestrian by Alexandria Fragrances. So that one made it to the top 5. So that one was number 5. So number 4, what I'm gonna go with here on number 4 is Dior Survived Eau de Parfum. So I'm going with Dior Survived because, again, Dior Survived, in my opinion, is just another one of those fragrances that is definitely an all year round fragrance. You can definitely wear it in the summer months, in the spring. To me, it does have enough staying power to be worn in the winter time as well. And again, because it never really gets super cold out here, I think that this fragrance is still a fragrance that you would absolutely want to throw on, while living out here in Las Vegas. So this one, it's still definitely a freshie. It's not really heavy at all, especially not this version. This version projects, a tad bit less than what the EDT does, but this is still a solid fragrance, in my opinion, to wear even in the fall and the winter months. This one is just like, it's almost like a Swiss Army knife type fragrance where, any occasion, any time, doesn't matter. You can always throw on Dior Sauvage and it'll work. And for the most part, people will love it, So it's definitely a safe pick. All right. So that is Dior Sauvage. So at number 3, I'm gonna go with Rassasi's Darige Pour Homme. So Darige is basically Rassasi's interpretation of a really popular and now expensive discontinued fragrance from Valentino called Valentino V. And although I've never smelled the original Valentino V, what I will say is this fragrance is really, really good. It really is. You do have to be very careful with this fragrance because it is a lot stronger than you would think. When you smell this off of the cap, and even when you first spray it, it just smells like a really fresh, fragrance that you could probably spray on you about 7 or 8 times and you would be fine. But I mean, really, 3 sprays with this is probably about the max you really need to go. 3, no more than 4. And I would say that's going to be in any occasion or any type of weather, really. This stuff is really strong, really potent, comes off as really fruity, you know, in the opening. And then it does definitely start to get a little bit more creamier in the dry down, like with I believe this has tonka bean in it. So you start to get that creaminess from the tonka bean come out in the dry down on this fragrance. But again, this stuff is really strong. This is another one of those fragrances that you can spray on at the beginning of the day, and it's gonna last you the entirety of the day, no problem. All right, so this one I do like to wear to work, but I do also plan to wear this one a lot, you know, just going out or just casually as well, especially when it starts to you know, cool down a little bit. I think right now it's way too hot to wear this. This is definitely something that would become cloying, I would say, in the summer months. You know, even right now, I mean, it is early September, but it was still almost 110 degrees today. So it's definitely way too hot to be wearing this particular fragrance. But probably within a month and a half or so to 2 months, this is gonna be a perfect fragrance to wear, absolutely. All right, so now we're getting down to the top 2. So at number 2, this one is gonna be from Genre Parfums, and this goes by the name of Ancient Islands. So Ancient Islands is Genre Parfums' take on Xerjoff Naxos, which is basically like a gourmand type fragrance. The main note in that particular fragrance is honey. So this one just comes off as being like really sweet and spicy to my nose, but that honey note in this stuff is just really, really done well. I haven't smelled the original of this fragrance, and I haven't smelled any other interpretations. I know Alexandria has their interpretation of it as well, but this particular fragrance, or the way that, you know, Genre has done this, I'm very, very happy with this particular fragrance. So much that I did go ahead and actually purchase a 30 milliliter bottle of this fragrance. You know, that's how happy I am with it. So this fragrance I also get pretty good performance on. It projects pretty nicely. It doesn't come off to me as being like a super heavy gourmandish type fragrance where, you know, 1 or 2 sprays and that's, you know, enough to, you know, probably blow your head off. It's not really like that. This still comes across as being a little bit more fresh. So this one, you can, in my opinion, you can spray it on a little bit more heavier without it becoming a super cloying type fragrance. All right, and again, it lasts all day long. All right, so at number 2, again, that is Ancient Islands by Genre Parfums. And at number 1, this one is one of my newest pickups, and I have to say that this fragrance right now is probably my favorite fragrance, period. The smell of the stuff is just absolutely amazing. I had smelled it before and didn't really think that I was that impressed with it, but smelling it again, this stuff is just really good. And that's gonna go by Bleu de Chanel Parfum. All right, so the Parfum version of this fragrance to me is hands down the best. I have smelled the EDP and the EDT version. I think I probably still will maybe purchase the EDT version and just sort of use that exclusively for like summer months, because I do like the fact that that one projects a little bit more, and I do like the really strong grapefruit opening in that fragrance. But this particular version, the Parfum version, just the quality of the smell and the richness of this fragrance is just, it's second to none. And for this to be a designer fragrance, this one is really, really done well. It really is. You know, I'm not the most experienced person with Chanel fragrances, but I mean, this being my introduction, I guess you could say, to Chanel fragrances, you know, as far as me owning any, it definitely makes me curious to, you know, sort of venture and explore some of their other fragrances, because this stuff is like, this is really amazing juice. It really is. I did wear this the other day. I got probably about a good 3 to 4 hours of, you know, I won't even say projection. I would say, as far as projection, maybe 2 hours or so, and then it probably turned into a skin scent after about 4.5 hours. But at the end of the day, after smelling my skin, it was still on me. So, you know, I got at least about 9 hours or so out of the fragrance, at least. But this stuff, man, I really, really enjoy this stuff. I really do. All right, so that one again is my #1 fragrance, Bleu de Chanel Parfum. This one is another one that could be worn any season, anytime. But I plan to wear a lot of this in the upcoming fall and winter months. All right, so that's my top 10 list. Let me know what you all plan to wear in these upcoming fall and winter months. Let me know if you approve of this list. And yeah, man, like, comment, subscribe. Keep checking back for more videos. Jamar here, Vegas Sense. I'll see y'all in the next video.